Hello, everyone. This is Moments with Carlton, where the conversation hits the mic. Well, hello again to all of you wonderful listeners out there. This is Moments with Carlton, where today we're going to talk to you guys about procrastination at its finest. And one thing that we know for sure, that I know for sure, and probably you guys know for sure yourself, is that is the one area in our lives that has some of the greatest impact about who we are, what we do, and who we become. Because those our action of procrastinating, it always put us in a position that you're always looking back at yourself. You're always looking back and saying, "Man, I'm not supposed to be in this place right now. I'm supposed to be a lot further down the road." You're asking yourself why are you still sitting in the same position, and several questions like that. Like I said, you asking, what am I, who am I, and what I have to work with. These are some of the things that we find in our moments of procrastination. And like I said, guys, I'm just going to talk to you guys realistic because Carlton has been procrastinating over the past few weeks about getting back to this podcast. Um, I have had some new challenges that occurred, and in the process of these new challenges that came, it it was making it somewhat difficult for me to go forward, even in coming back to this podcast and creating more content for you guys. And so that's why I came up with the topic of procrastination at its finest, because we all have been guilty of it. In fact, we all are guilty of it. I can guarantee you, just looking back at what you have done this week, there's something that you can say for yourself that you have been procrastinating about doing. And the more that you procrastinate about it, the more you just putting that thing behind you, and it just building up, building up, building up, till eventually you're going to find yourself in a scramble because you just we keep postponing things, and the more you postpone things, the more it never gets done. And that's just like doing the laundry. You say, well, I'll put that off to another day, and that another day never comes um, until you have ran out of clean clothes, and then now you're at the point where you're scrambling, and you have to get the clothes washed, and it's just something that, like I said, you begin to really see who you are, and what you are, and if we're honest, we see what we are, and and what we got to work with. But the thing is, I come to tell you guys, like I said, I'm a big time procrastinator, and I began to realize that, and I began to look at some of my failures. I began to look at some of my success, and one of the greatest influence that have been a great impact in my career choices is the procrastination that I have done, putting things off till tomorrow. And even just on yesterday, um, for those of you that don't know, I do lawn maintenance. Even on yesterday, as as me and my team was out doing some lawn, and we ran into this situation where we had a blown out tire, and with that blown out tire, it immediately began to make the day frustrating. It begins to make the day a little different, a little more challenging than what we anticipated or than what we wanted. So the team was like, "Well, what are we going to do? Are we going to just postpone the jobs that we had to do till today, which would have took some time because we had to take the tire off and then get to a tire shop um, to put the tire back on, and all of that was gonna. It may be a simple job, but to just to do that alone was going to take at least 30 minutes to an hour just to get because of trying to get the tire off the trailer. That was a workout. We wasn't able to break the lugs on it, so we had to. Good thing is we wasn't too far from the shop, so we had to slowly drive the thing back to the shop and get the air wrench, the impact wrench to get the tire off the rim. I mean, off the trailer. That was 20 minutes right there that we lost, and then taking the tire off the trailer. That was another 10 15 minutes. So now we are already looking at 25 minutes to 30 minutes into the day, and we have not even got the tire for the trailer yet. So the team began to question it and say, "So what are we going to do? Are we going to put this off until tomorrow?" My first response was no. We need to put this. We need to go ahead and get this done now. Get what we can get done, because if we don't, then the only thing we're going to do is pile the workload up on ourselves, um, which kind of got us in that situation in the first place because of the weather, the rain, and when it's raining, you we can't really go outside and do any yard work. So that rain had put us behind a little, but in the process of that point, we was procrastinating about shall we do it or shall we just put it off to the next day. And the first response was, well, we could just do it tomorrow. But then I got to thinking, and I said, you know what? If I keep doing this, then only thing I'm doing is putting myself further behind, because we had more jobs to do. And so now that was going to create more chaos, excuse me, and create more workload on ourselves as well as our equipment in the process of procrastinating. And so I began to say, no, guys, let's not get into that. Let's go ahead and get this done. And that's one of the things that I come to tell you guys, or that you guys may even know and have experienced yourself, is the moment when challenges come or when challenges occur. That's when procrastination seems to be at its greatest. You keep and what is procrastination anyway? Procrastinating, man, I'm getting tongue tied here. But procrastination is pretty much just delaying, putting things off until the next day. You're saying that, well, I'm going to delay doing this. I'm going to delay doing that. That's the only thing. That's what a procrastination truly is, and it just creates more havoc for yourselves than what should be. And so I encourage you guys so much, as I'm encouraging myself, to really take a step back and look at how much we procrastinate on doing things. Look at how much we procrastinate on life itself. A lot of things you may need to do, a lot of things that you may be signed up to do or to get done, and we keep putting it off for tomorrow. Um, and there was this quote that I read, said that take no thought for tomorrow, take care of itself. And that's, of course, it's coming out of the Bible, and it's telling us, in so many words, that particular scripture is telling us, don't be trying to put your focus on tomorrow, because tomorrow has a whole new era that is going to be dealing with, and we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. That's why we shouldn't wait. Try to do what we can do today for tomorrow, and that's something that I am learning so deeply. That is something that I'm learning very, very strongly, by procrastination. And I, as I said, I encourage each and every one of you. Like I said, this is actually my first time coming back on my podcast since, gosh, man, it's the middle of September. I I may not have been on here since July. I might have came on here in August, um, but that just me just talking to you guys right now, not looking at the actual broadcast stream platform right now, the dashboard. Thank you. That's that's don't come to say with me not looking at the dashboard, but just knowing that within myself that I have not been here on this podcast, and the reason being because I've been procrastinating. Ladies and gentlemen, I just been procrastinating, saying, well, I'm going to do it later on today. Or then when later on the day came, I was like, well, it's too late. The family's home. I got distractions here, yada, 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 yada. And I'll do it tomorrow. Then tomorrow came, and then had new challenges. Things happen, jobs to do. And well, here we go. Weeks later, months later, hours later, and Carlton never comes on the podcast. And this morning, as I began to really sit down, and begin to study and put my thoughts together, I had to really make it up in my mind that I'm going to go on this podcast today, and no matter what challenges came, which I did have some challenges that came that interfered from my timing on doing this, but nevertheless, I said I'm going on anyway to do my podcast, and I'm going to read to you guys this survey that I've read in the process of studying and of looking up this prepare for this podcast. Uh, It says the study shows that 20% of adults procrastinate chronolo- chronologically. 20% of us adults procrastinate chronologically. And and that's your thinking, your way of thinking is how you procrastinate. You put things off, or you start delaying things. Well, I think I can do this later, or I feel like that's not something that I need to do right now. And many of us adults, we procrastinate so much, and it's showing in the study. It said 20% of us adults are procrastinators, whether we want to admit it or not. You may be in that 20% that procrastinate, and then it goes on to say that 50% of college students procrastinate in a consistent and chronic manner. That's 50% of our children, of the adults, those that are into the college, that are procrastinators. And the reason being because they keep putting things off, um, where maybe I just don't feel like it today, or maybe this just might be too hard. Maybe I need to take a break and relax my mind. Realistically, that's a part of that procrastination that is within us, and it is so evident when you really take the time to look around, when you take the time to look at things, to look at people, you're really seeing that procrastination that's there, even in our colleges. That 50%. The survey also began to say that 80 to 95% of the students in general are procrastinators. This is what research says. The psychology of procrastination says that 80 to 95% students are procrastinators. That means that no matter what comes what goes on in the classroom, or in the school, whatever comes their way, they're procrastinating about getting the job done, or getting the lesson complete, or they're procrastinating by putting this off to a later date. They're delaying their decisions on decision making, and that's one of the challenges that we have to face, with in the moments of procrastination. It's dealing with our ability to go ahead and finish things right then, or go ahead and engage ourselves in what we need to. And once we begin to do this, then we begin to see who we are. Once we begin to see what we are, and also we begin to see what we have to work with, the things that we have to work with. And ladies and gentlemen, like I said, procrastinating is is just delaying or postponing something. And many of us, we are doing this daily. We are doing this daily, procrastination. And one of the reasons being because new challenges occur. And as new challenges occur, it calls us to, our emotions get in the way. And then once our emotions get in the way, then it has an effect on our attitude. And then as our attitude get in the way, then it has an effect on our thinking ability. And Roy Vaden, if I'm pronouncing that name right, or I may not be pronouncing his name right, but his name is spelled Roryvaden. Rory Vaden. He writes, "The human brain is not designed for success. The human brain is designed for survival." And that is something to think about, that if you and I don't really engage ourselves into getting out of this area of procrastinating, that's what is just leading up to. We're just living in that moment. We're just trying to survive. We're just trying to make it through the day. We're just trying to make it through the hour. We're just trying to make it through the week. Just trying to make it through the month, or just trying to make it through the year. It it refrains you and myself from really going forward in life and becoming that successor that we can be. It 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 reframes us from becoming the individual that we need to be, when you can begin to say, "What am I? Who are you? You know who you are. You know what your capabilities are." But because of procrastination is at its finest, you can't see who you are. You can't. It's amazing how people can see your potential, and even you yourself know your potential. But because of that procrastination, I know I'm preaching to somebody, and I'm not trying to preach, but the truth is, who are you? You don't know who you are without. Why? Because of that procrastination that is so much in the way. And the more that we have procrastination in our way, the less likely that we are to thrive, the less likely that we are to get done what we need to get done, the less likely we are to move forward. And it keeps us in that position, as I've said before in one of my other previous podcasts. It keeps you to the point of, you become of no value. You becomes of no good because of, you're not moving, you're not changing, and it really hurts. Not only you, but it hurts those that are connected to you. So think about it. 20% of us adults, we procrastinate. 50% of students procrastinate, and in a consistent and chronic manner. But and this is what the survey from the psychology of procrastination. This is what the survey come from that I'm reading to you guys. And how do we overcome procrastination? How can we overcome procrastination? I'm glad you asked that question because this is how, by changing. And the ways that we're going to change, well, you're going to have to tune in to the next podcast as we get ready to get up out of here. Because uh, I just love the opportunity for me to be able to share these few moments with you about procrastination. So if you want to learn more about how you can overcome procrastination and what to do to get out of procrastination, tune in to the next podcast on procrastination at its finest. All right, this has been Moments with Carlton, where conversation hits the mic and we grow together. Okay?